Welcome back to From the Shed and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, as always, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, we're talking about one of the biggest stories that is swirling around the football club at the moment. That is the 74 charges that are currently being leveled against the club at the moment. This is charges that have come against or come by the Football Association. If you've been following the drama, you'll know that outcome of those 74 charges is coming up very, very soon. We're going to try and break down what those potential punishments are going to be or possibly going to be, when we should hear the verdict as well. If you're a Chelsea fan, you're going to want to stick around for this video. Now, let's go back to the basics. Now, these charges come back from September of this year. 74 charges were brought upon by Chelsea and the FA with the charges basically breaches of the regulations. They basically are just, they're not just rules, they're specifically around agents, intermediaries, and third-party investments in players. And the time frame for this is 2009 to 2022, which covers pretty much most of the Roman Abramovich era under his time at Chelsea, and most of those alleged issues happening between the 2010-2011 season and also the 2015-2016 season. Now, what exactly are we being accused of? Now, we're being accused of things like undeclared payments to agents, using unregistered intermediaries to seal deals, and shady third-party investments as well. So that might give the club a bit of an edge in the transfer market. It might help us sign a particular player, might help with agents being persuaded slightly a little bit more. And we're talking about off-the-book payments here. We're talking about things that aren't being properly recorded in the club's accounts, some high-profile examples. I think I covered this in another video not too long ago, but the likes of Eden Hazard's transfer 2012 from Lille, there were alleged hidden agent fees in that deal, deals with Willian as well and Samuel Eto'o when they moved over from Russia in 2013, involving offshore vehicles linked to Abramovich as well. You've got other payment figures, agents tied to Antonio Conte's appointment, or even the chairman of clubs like Swindon Town and CSKA Moscow as well. Now, these payments were reportedly routed through offshore companies, so they were all owned by Abramovich as well. So it's not looking good for us. It doesn't look good for us in the grand scheme of things. So it basically, by putting it into those accounts, it kept it off Chelsea's books. So theoretically, in a nutshell, Roman Abramovich had some dodgy bank accounts stashed away somewhere. Now, rather than put those through the clean channels of Chelsea's accounts and books, he was actually throwing it into his dodgy accounts, which were offshore and away from Chelsea's football club. So it isn't looking good. Now, there's a key thing here. Now, obviously, there's a key point to talk about, because Chelsea, currently led by Todd Boehly and Blueco, Clear Lake Capital, now, they actually self-reported these issues when they first found out about them back in 2022, when they were trying to do their due diligence and all the checks to take over from Roman Abramovich. They found these 74 charges in the finances post-takeover. They've been cooperative with the FA ever since as well. That's a big key thing. They've been cooperative. They found them. They went straight to the FA and provided full access to files and data, which is another key thing going in our way. And that's why, if you remember, the club issued the statement I think it was in September, to say that they're pleased and they're trying to help be very transparent. They want to get this conclusion done very quickly and get things out of the way. Now, you have to ask, how did we get here as well? How did we get here? Now, this all kicked off because leaks and investigations that started with the Bureau of Investigations Journalism, so that's the TBIJ, which is a sort of a separate journalism governing body. They uncovered a lot of this in 2023. A lot of this was unearthed, revealing secret payments as well. That was a big thing that mirrored what the FA is now charging. So there was a bit of correlation with some of the payments that were found. It also ties back to the time when Chelsea, of course, were winning many, many trophies, including the Champions League, the Premier League, FA Cups. But now there is obviously a lot of questions being raised about I don't know if you want to call it whether they're actually worth, have we done the right thing? Have we won them legitimately? Have we gained an advantage by using the deals that we've done and the avenues that we have to get the players in, to secure those trophies. Is it all above board, I think, is what people are talking about. And of course, look, no one's taking away what Roman Abramovich done for the football club, because he done a lot. He done amazing things at this football club. He done more than any. I can't think of another football owner that's done so much for a football club than Roman Abramovich has done. Now, some people are going to say, has he done it all above board? Is it all been legit? Listen, as fans, do we care? That's the question I'm going to ask you. Do we care? Do we care? I, for one, none of this really concerns me. I just want to see the results on the pitch. All the off-field stuff, of course, you don't want to see points deductions. You don't want to see lengthy transfer bans. But in a nutshell, 3 p.m. Saturday, Everton, I want us to get 3 points. That's all that I care about. But now the punishments, potential punishments. Now, this is the big question. I know a lot of other fan bases are hoping we get a transfer ban or we get a massive points deduction. I don't think those things are going to happen. I don't think we'll be in a position where we need to worry about those things. I think, obviously, the disciplinary hearing is set to conclude this week. So we could hear about this as I'm recording this. They could drop the outcome of it now. They could tell us in tomorrow, the day after, or in a week's time, but it's very imminent. So the disciplinary hearing is due to end this week. We also know as well that there is more talk around and certainty, hopefully, around a fine rather than points deduction, rather than a transfer embargo. That is basically purely down to one simple element. We're actually being compliant. We're trying to get this resolved. We took the charges straight to the FA as soon as they were found by the new owners. So this isn't like the Man City issue where they're trying to fight tooth and nail to clear their name, to fight their case. We've actually put our hands up at the very start, said actually we're guilty. We found these things. We don't agree with them. They're not our problem. They're the previous owner's thing. And we're trying to get this resolved. And I think that's the best course of action. Now, you have to remember as well, UEFA, we did something very similar where we sort of agreed with the charges that were given to us. We didn't fight them, and we were given a very hefty fine with UEFA. Now, I do have to point out that there is still an ongoing investigation, if you remember, with a wider issue with the Premier League. So this is separate to those charges. This is completely separate charge to the Premier League charges that are currently ongoing at the moment. This is the FA charge for 74 breaches of those regulations. So this is a completely separate thing to those charges. But of course, it's very difficult because it's unfortunate for the new owners or the owners that are in place now. This falls really on Marina Granovskaya and potentially Roman Abramovich as well. They're probably the two at fault for all of what's going on currently, that the ownership that are in place now having to deal with to get this resolved as soon as possible. But look, I mean, this is probably for me more so about closing that chapter, because I think for me, you want to see this door close and hopefully another one open where we can put it behind us, put some more players into the team that are good enough, experienced players. We need to get those experienced players. And maybe this is why we haven't been as robust or proactive in the transfer market, while we've been going for these younger players. Maybe we're waiting for this to happen. Maybe we're waiting for this to be resolved to see what the outcome is, what the cost is. Now, if you remember in my previous YouTube video, I did say that the owners, when they took over from Roman Abramovich, they put a chunk of money aside for this. So this shouldn't impact financially Chelsea as such, because the money should already be in place. It should already be there. When they took over the club and they bought the club, they reserved a pot of money, some reserved funds for this. So hopefully the fee, the fine, for whatever you want to call it, is not as big as or over the top of the pot of money that we've got put aside, and we can actually afford to just continue with the football club. That's the main thing. We want to see our football club prosper, thrive, and be back where it belongs. But once this is resolved, I personally want to see some changes in the transfer market. I want to see some experienced players come in. We're going to talk about all of that in tomorrow's video in the podcast episode with Theo on his return from Brazil. So make sure you tune in for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments as well. Let me know what you think. Are Chelsea being hard done by? Or are Chelsea very wise for bringing this to the FA's attention? And what do you think, if you're a neutral fan or a fan of another fan base, what do you think the sanctions should be for Chelsea? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with another video.